Hello, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, hello, and if you are back again, thank you for revisiting the channel. I want to talk a moment, briefly, about toxicity. As far as videos, as far as social media, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, etc. But I want to talk specifically about the black sector of YouTube and some things I found very interesting about the black sector and how toxic the black sector of YouTube is. And I'm going to put out a disclaimer here and say that this kind of behavior that I have witnessed and that I hear in the black sector of YouTube is not indicative. It is not behavior of or indicative of most blacks. Some blacks, perhaps, because there are blacks that I speak with. They don't have a clue about what's going on as far as YouTube. They mainly use YouTube to listen to music or maybe watch videos like music videos or something instructional, constructive. But then there are this group of black men and black women who have decided to use their channels to attack each other like ravenous wolves who have turned in on each other. Now, I will probably be criticized because I'm really going to call out the men on this, or the males. Because the reason why I'm going to call them out more is because their channels seem to get the bigger followings, the most subscribers, the more money contributed to their channels, their Patreons and PayPals and whatever else they have. Because the black males that make their videos attacking the women of their race seem to draw a lot of other toxic black males, and even some non-black males who want to get in on the old let's gang up on black women. But I notice in their videos, some of them have been on YouTube since, I think, 2007 perhaps. They've gone under many different avatars, many different names that they've given themselves. But the rhetoric is still the same about how the black woman has failed the black community, even though it's my understanding it's the black man that is supposed to build his communities. And of course he will give every excuse of why he has not done that, why he presently does not do that. He will give every excuse for walking out on children that he has helped make, while he sits back and makes endless video after endless video talking about single mothers and how awful the single mother is. Not admitting the fact that the reason the single mother exists is because of deviant, irresponsible men who do not take care of their responsibilities, who do not want consequences for their actions. No woman becomes a single mother without the help or the assistance of a man. Now, this channel is going to be a very positive channel. In fact, I give a brief description on what this channel is about. It's not going to be talking about black men or black-related issues. That is something that I used to do, and I tired of it rather quickly. It got old. Because if people are not going to be responsible for their behaviors and are going to come up with every excuse to not be accountable, there's no reason for me to go on and on and on and on talking about black men and their behaviors, or about black women either. If you don't want to change, I can't make you change. Nothing I can say can make you change. But anyway, Yeah, so you have black men that will make video after video after video claiming that he is telling the truth about the behaviors of black women, the negative behaviors. And when called out on their video content, they'll just say something like, well, it's not bashing if we're telling the truth. Well, I find it amazing that your brand of truth only seems to be one-sided, because truth is never one-sided. If the black woman has destroyed the communities, which is virtually impossible for men who claim that they think with logic, it is illogical to say that the black woman herself is the demise of black communities. That would only be possible if only black women made up these communities. Since the black man shares these communities with black women, there is no way that the demise of black communities could be contributed to her solely. Now, I don't live in a black community. I live in a rather diverse, eclectic, mixed community, which is my preference. But I'm going to speak on this anyway, just once. I'm not going to keep making video after video talking about this, because there's no reason for it. There's no reason or rhyme for it. There's no sense to keep talking and talking about things that you really cannot change. Okay? So the black woman being the demise of the black communities, and like I said, they give their list of reasons. You know, the black man was thrown out for welfare, which is complete and utter nonsense. You weren't thrown out for welfare. Many of you actually receive welfare from the welfare mothers that you're shacking up with presently. But many of you would not dare to admit this, because there's no way you're going to put that truth spotlight on your own selves, because you can't do that, because the goal is to blame the black woman for everything. So of course you cannot admit your faults anywhere. Now, if any of you were thrown out for welfare, which is inconceivable, because of a man, he's manned up and he's taken responsibilities for things that he has contributed to. Okay, if he's taking responsibility, he's taking care of his own, he's taking care of children that he helped make. Nobody is taking you out for welfare. If you got kicked out, it's because you weren't doing what you needed to do. And many of you don't want the responsibility of the children that you help make, but it's just easier to make videos or go under the comment section of another loser's video talking about how horrible black women are, how they're the worst mothers, when you're not really good fathers. And many of you men saying this, how many of you have children? I wonder if you have children. And are you in those children's lives? I'm not talking about doing the holidays and birthdays either, losers, okay? Any of you married to the women that you have children with? Because that would completely do away with single mother or reduce its percentages drastically if the men who knocked up the women. But see, I guess you can't do that. You're not marrying, because many of you are being led around by your own penises. Your penises do your thinking for you. You couldn't marry these women because there's so many of them. Many of you with multiple partners, multiple children by different women, but yet you have the audacity to sit online and make video after video just trashing single mothers. When you are the problem. You are the problem. It's not the women, it's the men. Because without your sperm, no babies are happening here. I don't care if she throws open her legs and say, go at it. Without your sperm, pregnancy is not happening. But see, many of you just want the fun. Wham, bam, and thank you, ma'am. Pump them and dump them videos. There's a lot of that in the black sector of YouTube. Now, that's also coming from, I hear some trashy white males who say the same thing. But this video is specifically about the black sector. So you have a lot of black males who are online talking about pumping and dumping women. But then you want to holler single mothers. How single mothers aren't raising their children right. Well, you're not raising them either. So what's your complaint? Why do you feel you have a right to complain? You're not raising the kids either. Obviously you're not if you're complaining about how single mothers are just screwing things up all over the place. You're not raising those kids either. So if you're not a part of the solution, then you're obviously a part of the problem. You're contributing to the very issues that you're complaining about. Where's the logic in that? How do you complain about issues that you contribute to? Here's another one while I'm thinking of it. Men who say they want virgins. A woman should be a virgin. You guys are delusional. You live in a fairy tale world of make-believe and just, I don't know, acid, mushrooms. I don't know where you're coming from here. I don't even think you know where you're coming from. You want women who are virgins. Well, here's a good suggestion. Here's a good idea for men who, self-righteous men, self-holier-than-thou men, especially you ones who like to use scripture for everything. If you want virgins, here's how you can help out. Keep your penises zipped up and away. If you want virgins, keep your penises out of young girls. Yeah. How do you expect to have virgin women when men act like salivating dogs? If the woman doesn't give you any, she's a tease, and if she does give you some, she's a whore. I mean, there's no pleasing these idiots. How many penises has she had ran through her? Well, how many vaginas have you ran through? For those of you standing on your soapboxes, giving lectures to women of how we should be so virtuous and virginal, how many vaginas have you ran through? For all of you claiming you want virgins. Now, you can't have it both ways. You can't have virgins and want to screw every woman you see. And let me ask you something. Why would a virgin want you? You ever ask yourself that question? No, you don't, because you're narcissistic. You're condescending. You're chauvinistic. And you look down on women. Now, you don't ever ask yourself those questions because I don't even think you could answer them. You can't have virgin women if you're screwing every woman. It doesn't work that way. And once again, my question would be for all these men wanting virgins, why would a virgin want you? Because if you're so concerned about the woman who's had all this sex, she's been ran through, she's destroyed now, well, what about the man who was basically made a slut or a whore of himself, screwing different women, especially you men who screw multiple women and have children by multiple women? Why would a virgin want you? You're filth for her. You are filth. But do you think you get a pass simply because you're male? Because you have a penis and testicles? That men do not have to possess virtue, integrity, morals, and ethics? You think you get to act like a salivating hound, a deviant hound in heat? Chase every piece of ass out there, but have the audacity to fix your lips to say that you want a virgin? Well, even if you do, why would a virgin want you? You would contaminate her, especially if you're the type of male that I just mentioned. Many of you males need to put a leash on your penis with a strong choker because you screw everything. In fact, many of you travel all over the globe just to screw women. Your contradictions and your hypocrisies are vomitous. They're disgusting. You tried to present yourselves as these virtuous men, these honorable men with integrity, and you are filth. You are filth. Your comment sections are full of men who are filth. Your attitudes towards women, your condescension, your one-sided sexist attitudes towards women is filth. You don't deserve virgins. You deserve exactly what you are. You're not honorable men and men of God or the Most High, sons of the Most High, and all this other garbage you puke out. You deserve exactly what you put out there. You present yourself as filth, that's what you deserve, and that's what you're going to get. You deserve the kind of women that will treat you like the men that you are. And I have seen many of your videos. I will not name your names. And I listen. And it is incredulous how delusional you are. Delusional black men in the black sector who make video after video blaming black women or blaming women in general for everything that is wrong. Everything wrong in the communities they contribute or attribute to black women. Which, once again, is impossible. It is illogical. Everything cannot be a woman's fault unless these black women live in those communities by themselves. You share these communities with these black women. But I have yet to hear black men say, this is where we are wrong. This is where we dropped the ball. This is where we need to improve. No, you're not going to do that. You're not going to do that. You know why? Because you're spineless and you're cowards. And that's what spineless cowards do. Also, that is what a narcissist does. A lot of these men are just narcissists. They're narcissistic. They are textbook narcissists. Nothing is ever their fault. Nothing. They always have someone else or something to blame. They never take accountability for anything, which is what they will say about the black women. Well, even if that's true, what's your excuse? What is your excuse for not taking any accountability? And you know what they'll come back with? Well, the black woman, you could be talking solely to black men, telling them what the issues are, telling them where they are wrong, where they need to improve. And guess what they will do? Well, what about the black woman? The whataboutism. Oh, they love the whataboutism. Because it's never supposed to be about them. Oh, they're false. rage at the black woman and her being the single mother or aborting all these babies. Yeah, but how'd she get there? Let's talk about how she got there. Oh, no, you're not going to talk about that. No, let's just blame her. Because if we can blame her, then we don't have to take accountability for anything. And for those of you hollering abortions, how many of you are paying for those abortions? You want to talk about that? I bet you don't. How many of you have paid for a woman or women, in so many of your cases, how many abortions have you paid for, a black man? How many of you has actually kicked the pregnant woman in the stomach or punched her in the stomach to help her lose that child? Ooh. I'm going to step on some toes with that one. See, this is the stuff they won't tell you. They want to talk about the problem, but not how we got there. Because I love the ones that want to talk about how black women are the biggest baby murderers. Yeah. But how'd she get there? How many abortions did you pay for, black man? How many abortions did you cause? How many women have you killed so that you wouldn't have to care for that child anymore? Killing a woman because she's pregnant and you don't want the responsibility. I don't say it doesn't happen because we know it does. But because you're such weasels and you want to weasel your way out of everything, you're not going to admit these things. But we see the news stories. It's out there. You know, when I see protesters protesting in front of abortion clinics, I don't see any black men protesting. You're not protesting any abortions. No, you just like to talk about it. Because it gives you pleasure to sit and say disgusting, vile things about the women of your race. I don't know exactly where your hatred comes from. I'm sure it starts somewhere in your past, possibly in your childhood, most likely. But this deep-set resentment and anger and hostility that you are festering in your hearts. Many of you who claim to love the Most High. I didn't know there was a place for love and hatred in one's heart. I didn't know they could share the same space. But this channel is not going to be about toxic masculinity and toxic black men and toxic black people and... No. I got away from that. And I encourage others who are caught up in that. If you can get out, get out. But see, what happens is when you start making the money, when you start getting the views and the subscribers, because I noticed that these videos where the black men are really trashing black women, they have huge followings. And that's disturbing. It's sick. Because no matter how much you say you hate black women, you don't need her, you don't love her, you don't want her, other races of women are better than her. You still profit off of her, don't you? Like some parasite. Endo or ecto. Endo-ectocytes. Profiting off of black women. How do you do that? In your hate videos against her. The ones you call truth videos. You know, that one-sided truth that you never tell about yourselves, you can only tell about black women. You still profit off of women that you claim you hate. You need her to make that money. Because if you were put into a situation or forced into a situation where you had to talk about something else, I wonder how many of you could make money. I just wonder how many black males in the black sector, I'm not talking about all black males, I'm talking about black sector males. If you were to talk about something else other than black women, would you still get the views? Would you still get the subscribers? and the money? I can tell you right now, I can answer that for you. No. And if you don't find that toxic, someone to tell me how this is not toxic, then you tell me. And then I will tell you where you're wrong. Because it is very toxic. And it is very parasitic to make money off of trashing your own. That's toxic. And if you are a black person who has any kind of creativity at all, you would do yourself a favor to get out of the black sector of YouTube and start making videos that reached out to all races of people. Videos that uplift people and encourage people, not videos that tear people down. And if you are not a content creator, but you're just one of these ones that just love to hop from channel to channel, to video, under toxic videos, like these black women bashing videos, and you just love to leave your toxic, nasty comments, you're just as bad because you're an enabler. You add fuel to an already raging fire. You're disgusting. You get a channel for free. YouTube gives it to you. And this is how you choose to use it, by tearing down your own. By lifting other races of people over your own. Not making videos that reach out to people of all races, of both genders. Lifting. Providing some kind of happiness. Making videos that just will light up a person's day. They may be down and depressed and come across your video, and you've got content in there that you have created that just makes their day. Oh no. Not these fellas. No, they live in comment sections of toxic black males who love to tear down the women of their race. Nothing better to do with your time. Having Google chats or one of those Google Hangouts where you make 7-8 hour chats where you do nothing but trash the women of your race. But hell, why not? You're getting paid for it. Many of you, that's your living. You make your living from YouTube. And I'm not against anyone making a living from YouTube. I'm not. I'm not against anyone having a successful channel. I wish every content creator could have great success. But when you do it to your own detriment, when you have to tear someone else down, not have to, let me correct that, not have to. You choose to make toxic videos attacking other people, your own basically, for profit. That's disgusting. That's sad. Why don't you make some videos talking about yourselves? Why don't you make some videos, black men, talking about where you have messed up in your own lives, talking about the skeletons in your closet and under your beds. No, you're not going to do that. Because hypocrites don't do that. Narcissists don't do that. They don't ever talk about themselves unless they're painting themselves in a good light, unless they're painting themselves as a hero or a victim. Other than that, it's everybody else's fault. And in the case of the toxic black males in the black sector, it's the black woman's fault. It's all her fault. It's the single mother's fault. It's the white man's fault. It's white supremacy's fault. But it's never his. Ain't nothing ever his fault. And if you call him out on it, he'll jump to the whataboutism. Well, what about? Stay focused, boo. I'm not talking about these people over here. I asked you about you. You know, they don't want to answer questions about them. They're not going to make any videos talking about themselves. Not in a negative light, they're not. No. Because it's never about them. Unless you are praising him, these black males in the black sector, unless you're praising him, telling him how wonderful he is, even if you have to lie. I don't think they mind being lied to, because they sure as hell don't like the truth. But see, a friend, as someone that really cares about you, is going to tell you the truth about yourselves. I mean, isn't that what you say? We're just telling you the truth about yourself because we want you to be your best. We want you to do better. Well, I'm telling you the truth about you because you can stand to do better. Black sector YouTube males, you can stand to do a little bit better. Hell, a lot better. It'd be nice if you changed too. I mean, the black woman can't do all the changing because if she's doing all this changing, but you're staying the same, oops, oh, that's right, you don't have any faults. You are without sin. You're perfect, right? Is that what you're saying? That's basically what you're saying when you blame the black woman for everything wrong with black communities. What you're saying is that you have done nothing wrong. You are without fault. You are without sin. Now, we all know that's a lie, but that's the narcissist for you. So if the black woman is supposed to do all these things to change, what are you doing, black male? What are you going to do? You're going to stay the same? You're not going to grow? You think you're at a point now where you don't need to grow? You think you're at a point now where you no longer need to learn? You think you're at a point now where no one can teach you? Male or female? Is that where you are? No one can teach you anything? You know it all? You have all the answers? Well, listening to some of you think you do. Well, my questions to you, Einsteins, what have you contributed to your communities? What have you contributed to the world? What have you contributed to life other than your existence? That you have all these complaints with black women. Let me ask you, black Einsteins, what have you contributed? That there is no fault with you. That you can place all the fault on the heads of black women. But then you contradict yourselves. The black woman needs to build you. She needs to support you. She needs to build with the black man. Oh, well, you're perfect. You have your act together. You don't need black women. Some of you I hear say, you don't need black women. Well, I don't care who or what you need. But everything is not the black woman's fault. It never has been and never will be. Not as long as black men continue to share these communities with black women. It can never all be her fault. Now, that is logic speaking. What you're speaking, well, is gibberish. You might as well be talking Sims or Simoleon for all the sense that it makes. It's garbage. Nothing is ever just one person's fault. You hear that? You men that claim you speak with such logic? If you're blaming black women for everything that goes wrong in black communities, that is not logical thinking. That is illogical. Many of you are emotionally and mentally retarded. You make videos, some of you, couldn't form an original thought. Some of you just repeat what you've heard somebody else say. I know, because your talking points become predictable at times. Many times I know what you're going to say before you even open your mouths. Why? Because I've heard it before. And you heard it before. Many of you have heard this since 2006, 2007. Regurgitated shit just going on and on and on like some rabid Energizer bunny. It's the same talking points. You've heard them before. And many of you are repeating them. Nothing you're saying is original. It has been said before. And it will be said again. Many of you don't know what you're talking about. That's why you repeat or regurgitate garbage that you've heard someone else say. I would tell you to grow up, but at this point, it's too late. I wouldn't even waste my breath or the energy it would take to ask you, black sector, black male YouTubers, to grow up. You're done. You are finished. So I guess as long as YouTube allows you to make your videos, put your content out there, well, go on with that. But ask yourselves this, when you die, what will your eulogy read like? What will you be known for? What will you be remembered for? What legacy would you have left? A bunch of children by different women that you didn't bother to take care of? Oh yeah, I remember that guy. That was that guy that used to make all them YouTube videos talking about black women. Wow. Not the guy who, yeah, he was a good guy. Hardworking, raised a family, helped out in his communities, worked at the local homeless shelter, food pantry, stocking the food pantry, delivering Meals on Wheels, working with young black boys in the neighborhood, helped getting them off the streets, mentoring them. Now you'll be remembered as the guy who had that YouTube channel. He used to talk crap about black women. Wow. What a eulogy. All right, I'm through. I said what I had to say. Nothing more to say. That's why I don't understand the black men or the black women that keep going on and on and on about, oh, black man this, oh, black woman that. Okay. Unless you're just in this for the money, I don't see why else you keep going on with it. There's so many other things to talk about, which is what I plan to do on this channel, which is what I've already started doing. Brand new channel, brand new start. Not cluttered with black filth. But you continue to make your hate videos, and I say this as a black woman, continue to make them. And that's exactly what you're going to be remembered for. Because you contributed nothing else. That's apparent. So on that note, if you like this video, great. If you didn't like it, that's fine too. Until next time, adios.